Hello to all Star Wars fans. The third season of The Mandalorian is getting closer and closer. Of course, we are all looking forward to it, because at the moment it is the flagship of our beloved universe. Unfortunately, there is little news yet. Lucasfilm does not disclose any details, leaving them for dessert so as not to spoil their viewing experience as we think. Therefore, today I want to tell you my own theory about how I see the future of Din Djarin and baby Grogu in the Star Wars universe, as their future fate is becoming more and more obvious. And you know, I'll tell you straight, it seems to me that in the fourth season of The Mandalorian, Din Djarin will die. If anyone did not understand, Djarin is the Mandalorian, the main character. All this time, he unknowingly fulfills a mission. He educates one of the most powerful users of the Force, instills in him the culture of the Mandalorians, thereby laying groundwork for a unique Jedi Mandalorian, the second in history after Tar Vizsla himself. At first, the baby was something of a burden to him. Djarin felt that he had to save him from the clutches of the Empire, just as the Mandalorians had once saved him from the Separatists. Then he tried to return the baby to the right course, to give it to the Jedi, but all this time he was gradually attached to him. Thereby, by the second season, we see that a real kinship appeared between Grogu and Djarin. Now they are father and son. In the Book of Boba Fett, we watched how Djarin is already trying to take care of the baby. He even sacrificed a deadly and very unique Beskar spear to forge a chainmail to protect Grogu, thereby making it clear to us that Djarin cares more about the well-being of the baby than about his own. And so, as shown in the trailer in the third season, Djarin will begin to teach Grogu what is the true nature of the way. He is no longer a burden to him, and he had enough time for being a baby. It's time to get used to adulthood. As I said earlier, he instills in him the culture and skills of a Mandalorian. It is also interesting that in ancient times, Mandalorians and Jedi were enemies, and now we see the birth of a second Jedi Mandalorian. And even such a rare race. Incredible! It seems Grogu will become a real god in the flesh, like Starkiller. Now Djarin will teach him everything he knows himself, and what next? If the kid already masters all the necessary skills and gets into the culture of real Mandalorian warriors, what else can Djarin teach him? Nothing. And that's where his story should end. Of course, I understand that most fans will not be happy to see him die, neither Lucasfilm. His image helps to attract attention and sell the series, but sooner or later he must retire to make way for Grogu, and then the time will come when the baby will cease to be a baby and become a full-fledged protagonist of his own solo project. Heroes like Din Djarin do not live long. Their lifestyle does not contribute to longevity. As for the title of Mandalore, I am more sure that Djarin will eventually give it up in favor of a free life and prefer to raise a baby. This is his fate, and it can be easily recognized in the work of the screenwriters. I repeat, sooner or later he must die, and his death will draw a line in the history of Grogu. His death will become the very stage when Grogu ceases to be a child. Remember what Luke said, human life is only a moment in the life of such as Yoda, Yaddle or Grogu. One day Djarin will be gone, and then Grogu will journey on his own. It was a hint, definitely, but when will this shortest human life of a Mandalorian end? You know, it seems to me that the fourth season of The Mandalorian may differ significantly from the previous ones. Perhaps we are waiting for a time skip of 20 years, where Grogu would have learned to speak and survive on his own, and Djarin would certainly have been aged, turning into a kind of Joel from The Last of Us. A funny comparison, given that both characters are played by Pedro Pascal, or something like Kratos and his son Atreus from the game God of War. This comparison is already better. Seriously, how much can you keep watching about the same thing? No, of course not. I also adore the characters from The Mandalorian, but if in the fourth season they show us plus or minus the same thing, a little clumsy Grogu and Djarin in the same armor, it will slowly get boring. In a few decades, or maybe 100, Grogu will become the Grand Master of the New Order. I get goosebumps when I imagine how he will remember his father. Surely, in addition to the chainmail from Beskar, he will have something else from Djarin to remember. And teaching a new batch of students one day, Grogu would have said, "This thing came to me from my father. a symbol of unity and strength. He said that the ability to fight does not make you a Mandalorian, so force sensitivity doesn't make you a Jedi yet. You need to study a lot and hard. This is the way. It is in this way that I see the future of Grogu. He will definitely become a Grand Master, but for this, he must break away from what he is attached to. And I do not want him to be separated from Jaren just because it is necessary. Because if Jaren dies heroically, then his legacy will live with Grogu and it will motivate him even more. Besides, it will give us a lot of dramatic moments. But this is just my theory. We will actually find out how it will turn out only in a couple of years. And in the meantime, you can write your own version in the comments. I'm very interested in reading them all. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. That's it for today. I have to say goodbye to you for a while, but don't worry, I'll see you very soon in a new video.